All right. What's up, ladies and gentlemen? Today we have a review. This is my solution. Okay, I've made a video about this before. And yes, to this day I am still using it. I scaled down my formula after numerous bottles and trial and error. Now, this is the strongest window cleaning soap you will ever use in the market, besides an actual acid, pure acid base. But as an everyday cleaner, you can't get any stronger than this. Now, this has about, uh, hold on one second. Well, it doesn't say it on, but it says it on the box. It has about over several different types of acid in here. So rest assured it is strong as all heck. Because I'm using it not like it was meant to be. You really have to know your ratio. And I've kind of gotten it down to the T. But I don't do any measuring. But I will take a stab at what I think the measurement is. This is for Jarvis Davis. Now, Jarvis wanted to try my solution. So I'm going to show you everything that I do, including making bottles up for the week, which you don't need a whole lot. All you need is just one bag for the whole week. And I don't know how much water you go through, but if you work anything like me, you need very little water to clean your maintenance and your route work, because they're not going to be filthy, so you're not going to need a whole extreme amount of water. So we use one bag of this, right? And we fill this up to about here. Don't ask me why I don't fill it all the way up to the top, but I just know at that concentration level of just adding water to this one bag is perfect for the way I pour my solution. Now you want to add hot water with this because you want to dissolve the crystals. You don't want to have any chunks in there because it's going to be too much. It's going to be too powerful in some bottles that you may make because of the chunks are concentrated. And then I just kind of like pour this in the bottles, not in that solution. I have done it, but I usually just pour it separately because this intensifies anything. If your soap solution, if you put ammonia in your soap solution, it intensifies the glide. It intensifies the cleaning action. This will intensify any solution that you're using to clean glass. Okay? So that means your ratios have to be scaled down because you don't want to have too much or too little. You just got to know, just from experience. All right? So I pour about that much in a gallon of this. All right? So I guess I would have to say about 2 ounces filled up with this. I'm going to show you what I'm doing with this later. But let's get this mixed up first and then we'll come back. All right, so we have our solution in here. All right, so I stopped right here. As you can see, it's blue. It might not look like much, but I assure you, it is frothy as all heck. And in the beginning, I used too much. And you know what happened? Like sometimes you might splash the sides, and on some jobs you may not wipe all the frames like a madman. Well, those drops and then those splashes actually dried with like an ashy, like battery acid type residue left behind. That's from all the acid that's in this product. So if you don't wipe or rinse thoroughly, like you normally would use this product on the exterior of a house, you're diluting it with the hose, but you're also rinsing the solution down, which it wouldn't have a problem with leaving any residue behind, because that's how you're supposed to use it. But I found out that I was using it too strong, because I didn't need it too strong, because I had the ammonia in there. I just didn't know how strong this product was then. But the product has phenomenal glide, and I've kind of gotten used to enjoying the glide rather nicely. So I kept using the product. But for Jarvis, you might not want to use this every day. I do it because I like it. You may want to use this because you might have a first clean, and that's what you prefer to do, use a solution that's going to handle that tough, trifling dirt. All right, on tough jobs, because this will get it done. You might not want to use it every day, but if you're going to do that, you can use this every day. Just scale down your ratios to use it every day, and then scale them up when you got a real filthy job, or you just keep using your main basic solution that you're using now and only use this for tough jobs. That's nothing wrong with that. That's fine. But I use this every day because I don't play around with glass. I clean it. And I don't need to be scrubbing the heck out of a window if I don't have to. I lay this crap on here, man. Even if I pre-scrub it or pre-soak it, that acid is going to work for me, baby. So when I come back, all I got to do is squeegee that sucker off, or just scrub a little bit, agitate in those soiled areas. Because, see, with the Wagtail tools and my solution, you're kind of on top of your game, and I'll tell you why. The Wagtail, particularly the Slipstream Plus and the Wagtail One Pass, you have a gliding pad underneath. A lot of times, that gliding pad is enough to clean the window. If you have a strong solution, when you pre-soak or pre-wet the windows, you know how you wet like 5 rows of windows ahead of you? By the time you get down to clean all of them, you start back from the beginning where you first wet. That pad is usually enough to clean whatever little soiled fingerprints is on there, because you're looking for that stuff. You don't sit there and scrub the whole window, but you just mop it on there, and you agitate in the areas that it's a problem, because you don't need to scrub the whole window with this product, because while it's sitting on there, it's cleaning. It's hard to explain if y'all don't never have a product that does that. Soap won't do that. Joy won't do that. Dawn won't do that. You know, ammonia would do that, but you have to have a surfactant in there to coexist with the ammonia, because it has to be concentrated in that area. Ammonia would just fall down. It wouldn't stick to the area unless you have a surfactant. And that's what's needed to dissolve any kind of dirt, grease, or residue. But anyway, we're going to show you how to pour this. So stay tuned. All right, now for my everyday solution, I use this ratio. All right, so we got the 2 bottles now. These 2 bottles will last me about 2 to 3 days in my portable pump spray. I know that doesn't sound like a lot of water, and it doesn't sound like one with a lot of work. It doesn't sound like a person with that amount of water has a lot of work, basically. But I assure you, I have just as much as any average guy for a one-man show. You fill this up. Don't fill this up all the way. And the reason why is because after you add your 2 ounces, or I'd say about a half a cup, depending on how strong you want it, a half a cup of this stuff in here. So let's do that. I don't measure it. I just kind of know when to stop pouring. But if I had to guess, like I told y'all, I'm going to take a stab at it. And it would be about for my everyday solution, it would be about half a cup. And yes, even though I told you there's several different acids in here, you see me sticking my hands in here without gloves on. I have yet to have a problem with my skin and that stuff. But obviously, you don't want to leave it sit like it sits on that ledge and put battery acid all on your hands. All right. So I count about maybe 8, 5, 6 seconds. All right. So that should be good. Now I usually add a smidgen more if I notice I need a little bit more bubbles, but not much. All right. So we got a half a cup in there, give or take a few. Maybe I use a little less. I don't know. But let me do that. Now, not everybody wants to use ammonia. So obviously, it's hard to explain. See, the ammonia allows you to not use so much of that product, because ammonia will reduce the amount of white residue around the frames if you get your ratios wrong. Just make sure you add a little bit more ammonia if you want it stronger or slipperier. But I usually just kind of like just know when to stop pouring. But if I had to guess with this, it would be about a half a cup. Basically, you want to put about a half a cup in here. I don't fill it up all the way because when it comes time to pouring, you don't want to fill to the brim. All right, so you see how much is going. Remember I told y'all when it was up there, I bring it to down here. I just know when to stop. It's about a half a cup of both if you really want to get down to it. But sometimes I use a little bit more or less. I know what to look for when I'm using it. If I know I got just a smidgen more than I should. But so this bottle's done, all right? And we do the same to this bottle. Now, you can make up bottles for this week. Now, how many bottles would this fill up? If I had to take a stab at that, I used to know, but this will roughly get you about 2, 4, 6, 8, 10. This will roughly get you about 15 gallons right here. 15 gallons of solution. Now that goes a whole long way. That goes about a little over a month for me. And if you want me to make a detailed video about that as to why I make my solution last and I maximize my profit when it comes time for business expense on soap solution, this stuff is why. And I'm still getting the job done. I actually save money from using my old way. But anyway, I'll show y'all how I pour when I'm filling up my pump sprayer. All right, now I'm going to show you how to pour solution. This stuff is frothy, so as you're pouring it, it's going to be a lot of foam coming up at the top, which means it's going to be spilling out over into the ground. There's a little trick I've learned since I've been doing it that you won't find giving you this tip from anywhere else. Because if that was the case, I would have stumbled upon it. But you can take this tip for what it's worth. As you'll see me pouring, you'll see the bubbles rushing into the other bottle. It's just like when you pour beer, you have to tilt it on an angle. Same concept. Except these bubbles don't dissipate even if you stick your finger in it. So just watch and enjoy the tip.